Crash and burn.
Hey everybody. Oh fuck. So tonight, I mean, I knew this day had to come because I put up the video for Death Rider in the House of the Death Rider in the House of Vampires. I felt fucking tired after that. I knew that I was going to have to do Verotika. A couple people had asked, and I mean, I saw this movie somewhere back when it came out in 2019. It was getting compared to The Room back then, and I remember going in hearing people saying, "Hey, Tommy Wiseau," and I'm like, it can't be that bad. Well, actually, it can. To sum this movie up really quickly is, well, to be technical about it, it's an anthology. There's three short horror stories that Danzig is, for some reason, compared to Trilogy of Terror. The Trilogy of Terror. I didn't really think much of that movie, but this movie makes the Trilogy of Terror looks like fucking Shakespeare. So yeah, he actually had the nerve to do that. But yeah, this is three short stories. The first one's about some sort of six-armed, sort of not bad looking monster that kills sex workers. The second story is about some stripper that steals other strippers' faces because she's disfigured. And the third story is directly influenced by Elizabeth Bathory, the Hungarian blood queen that was said to have bathed in the blood of like 600 virgins. But then, if I'm not mistaken, Elizabeth Bathory died of syphilis. So at least one of those girls weren't a virgin, you know? Probably shouldn't be bathing in people's blood. There's an idea. You won't get syphilis if you don't do that. Anyways, yeah. Oh, fuck. Okay, so I knew I'd have to see this again. Now, the good is that I don't feel nearly as tired as I did after Death Rider. Those scenes were just too long. I can say that Danzig, though, all in all, he's not that bad of an actor. His scenes in Death Rider weren't awful. In Death Rider, the acting was way better because Eli Roth, well, even though he phoned it in, he was in it. Julian Sands was in it. Devon Sawa came director. So in that aspect, it's more of a real movie. Verotika, I've got the fucking thing on TV now, and it's, oh, Christ, like, oh, there's not enough blood. Like, look at this. Like, there's not nearly enough blood. I'm like, oh, Christ, I want to die. Anyways, yeah, the acting's abysmal. The first story takes place in France or something. The French accents are a little too legit, so they must be bad French actors. The monster in the first one, the six-armed dude, he actually doesn't look half bad. I do get sort of like Jim Carrey mask vibes from him. He's got the same sort of like moon face, or like that sort of like Mac Tonight thing. For anybody that remembers Mac Tonight, he's kind of got a low-key touch of that going on. I thought the makeup was well done on him, and I liked the 4 extra arms hanging off him. It was very like Goro from Mortal Kombat. I thought that was kind of fun. The acting was awful. The eyes in the chick's tits was just fucking stupid. And I don't know. The second story, the faces on the chick's wall, the faces that she's cutting off of all the strippers and shit, they don't look very good. It's like she goes home and she's talking to the skin that's up on the wall, and she's like, "Oh, did you miss me? I came home for you." And it's supposed to be all like psychotic and dark. And this reminds me of Cradle of Filth's movie. Remember the movie Danny and Company made way back? That's exactly what this movie is. Just like that. And I can't believe Danzig wrote and directed this. I have to say, look, I mean, the direction's not awful. So maybe he should just direct and let somebody else write the story. But then again, the directing's not like amazing. So maybe he should write the story, but I do get the vibe that he's not a solid enough writer to flesh his stories out fully. I felt that completely in Death Rider, that fucking movie. Each scene was at least a minute and a half, 2 minutes too long, because he didn't know what else to do, so he had to drag it out and so increase the runtime. I mean, like, the credits for that movie are like 10, 15 minutes long, because anybody that had any involvement whatsoever with Death Rider got a mention in the credits. Like, if you walked by the production, he'd be like, "Guy that walked by the production." You'd have that tagged in the credits to just sort of fill up more space. I keep doing this again because it's on. Oh, this is terrible. The best story is actually the third one, Druka or whatever, the chick who's supposed to be Elizabeth Bathory. This one is the best realized. I believe the costumes. I like all the red. I like how it feels sort of medieval. And it kind of has like a Conan the Barbarian thing going on. So see, look at this. I'm saying good things about this movie. That's amazing. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this was the best of the three stories. I liked the monster in the first one, but oh, the acting was abysmal. And like these three guys are maybe gonna rape the main chick with the eyes for nipples when she's at the theater and she falls asleep, and he's like, oh, she just smells so good or feels so good or something, and he's like touching her neck, and I'm like, oh, good, touch a gang rape, that's classy. And guy at the start trying to pull her shirt off and they're making out, and she's like, no, no, don't, and he sees her eye nipples, and he's like, yo, what the fuck? And yeah, this is just, oh Christ. Death Rider is the better of these two, but again, I saw this movie once back in 2019. I just watched it earlier tonight. I have it on again for some reason while I'm doing this. Fortunately, the volume's down. This one is easier to swallow because each of the three stories are a strict half an hour, and they just kind of come and go. Oh, that cop in the second one, I'm LAPD, and it's like, no, you're a terrible actor is what you are. It's unforgivable. I don't know, man. This is brutal. The cool thing is there's actual bands used as far as the music's concerned. Even Danzig pops up. I can't remember what track they use from Danzig. You'd think I'd know that. But it's when some stripper's stripping, I think. Danzig's music can be heard, which is kind of neat. I'm not 100% if Danzig did the score for this, because fuck, he apparently did the score for Death Rider. But I think he really should have just used the score from Black Aria too. Maybe wrote a new title track where that thing, the Death Rider rides alone, or whatever it is. Fuck, he could have. He phoned that in too. I'm talking more about Death Rider in this than I am Verotika. I think the reason that I keep talking about Death Rider more is it's just there's more cringe in that. This is essentially porn without penetration. All the chicks are porn stars, obviously, and if they're not, they're strippers, and if they're not, they're porn stars. Like, there's no two ways about it. These chicks are built like fucking porn stars, but there's no porn. There's no sex. Not that I'd want that. I'm not like 11. But, like, actually, yeah, that's right. No, the sex would have made this a lot worse now that I'm thinking about it. That would have made, like, this, like, eye-rollingly bad. I would have had to fast forward through all the sex. I don't care if there's, like, full-on penetration and, like, fucking... I don't care. I would be fast-forwarding through the sex because I just feel too... Who cares about sex in movies? Jesus Christ, that's what porn's for. But anyways, yeah, I'm trying to think. What else did I want to say about this? I liked the monster. I liked how they used a Danzig track in this. The real bands, too. Thought that was kind of nice. The third story was very cool. Christ, why am I trying? This wasn't very good. Death Rider seems to have a little more in the tank as far as him sort of aping Tarantino. I don't know what the hell he was going for with this, other than the Cradle of Filth movie from way back that I can't remember the name of. I get total that vibe from this completely. And that's where I'm going to leave this. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for just a little over 8 minutes while I attempted to say something meaningful and coherent about Danzig's directorial debut from 2019, and that is Verotika. Like always, if you like this movie or you like this review, go out and do something nice for somebody. It's easy. Hold a door. And I don't know. You could track this one down if you want, but it's fairly painful, kind of unremarkable, and completely forgettable. Yeah, so have a good night.